Have you ever met a famous person? Maybe you are an autograph hunter and you go and you follow people and get their autograph, famous people, or maybe you would go and get a selfie, take a picture alongside that person. That's becoming a huge thing for people to associate with celebrity or famous people or well-known people. And I think it's partly because we want to feel like something of them is rubbing off on us. The reputation that they have gets attached to us as we tell the story. I've not really met many famous people, but a long time ago I met, from a short distance anyway, Princess Diana. She came to the workplace where I was. There was an official visit, and as I had a few colleagues, we were stood. She came towards us. We got about 5 or 6 feet away, and then turned off down a different path. And there was something like a feeling of excitement, because this was a woman who you'd seen on television, on magazines, world famous throughout the world, and she was just so close. So I tell the story because I associate, like, I've been close to this person who has famous royal connections. And the same was true in the Bible in Jesus' time. When Jesus was going around, people wanted to associate with him. There's one occasion we're going to look at this morning, is where Jesus had performed this amazing miracle and he'd raised this man from the dead, Lazarus. And people were following him they'd followed and seen this miracle take place and were associating themselves with Lazarus. I guess they would have probably, if they had phones in the day, they would have taken pictures alongside Lazarus. But then some of them wanted to get close to Jesus. And so we pick up the story there, and I guess it's no different from today. People wanting to associate, and it says it this way in the Gospel of John, the book of John, chapter 12, verse 17. Now the crowd that was with him when he called Lazarus from the tomb and raised him from the dead continued to spread the word. So they're telling the story. They saw this thing happen. And a bit later it goes on and says, now there were some Greeks among those who went up to worship at the festival. That's a festival that was taking place in Jerusalem. And they came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, with a request. Sir, they said, we would like to see Jesus. Philip went to tell Andrew, and Andrew and Philip in turn told Jesus. So this news of Lazarus, this amazing miracle, was spreading around, and a whole crowd of people were gathering and following Lazarus, but also some wanted to get close to Jesus, the one who performed this miracle. And they ask someone who knows Jesus if they can get an introduction. They want to be associated with him by connecting through a friend. They want to look good. They want access to Jesus. And Jesus goes on to explain that this following is not about gaining a good reputation, but it's about giving up your reputation. They were wanting, these followers, these people that are associating because of the miracles, they wanted to gain a reputation by being those that were close to Jesus, associated in that crowd around Jesus. But Jesus turns it on its head and he says, this is not what following means. It's not about you gaining a reputation, but it's about you giving up your reputation. It goes on, Jesus says in verse 23, Jesus replied, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly, I tell you, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. Anyone who loves but if it dies, it produces many seeds. Anyone who loves their life will lose it, while anyone who hates their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant also will be. My Father will honour the one who serves me. This is huge, because Jesus says, unless the seed falls to the ground and dies, unless we are willing to fall and die. We don't want to fall, we want to be lifted up. We don't want to die, we want to be experiencing excitement. But Jesus said his ways are different. He comes from a different kingdom. He operates in a different way. His teaching challenging us because we want to gain reputation, but Jesus says you've got to be willing to be a follower of Jesus, you've got to be willing to lose your reputation. God's ways are different because he comes from a kingdom that is not of this world. In the supermarkets at the moment, the shelves have been empty in some places and challenging particularly for vulnerable people trying to get supplies. And there's a story of a young lad, a young boy, who was in a supermarket and an older lady there was looking on the shelves and there was nothing there. And he gave her some food out of his own basket to her and he said, "You need this more than I do." We see these selfless acts as amazing and noteworthy. And so this is really something that we would see is good. And Jesus challenges us to be selfless, not selfish. This is something that comes from his kingdom. It's good to be selfless. He says, if you hate your life, you'll keep it. We don't want to hate our life, but Jesus means if we love him more than we love our own life, if we're willing to put him first, then we keep our life for eternity. It says, verse 20, in that 26, "Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant also will be. My Father will honour the one who serves me." If we serve, we must follow. But not everyone who serves follows. The challenge is for us all to follow. The challenge for us this morning, today, whenever you're watching this, is that we would follow. Not just serve, not just be selfless, but we would follow Jesus, do as he teaches us, live in his way, put him first above ourselves. What does following look like? It means literally going down the same road as him, following in the ways that he teaches us. I guess some people are serving, and they're serving because it looks good, and they gain a reputation by serving. But some will be serving, and if Jesus turned up on the doorstep, they'd be so busy that they wouldn't even notice. But actually, our serving is not so that we are busy and doing stuff. Our serving is so that we honour Jesus. And if Jesus arrives on the doorstep, then we stop the serving because we want to be in relationship with him. This is the call to follow, is greater than the call to serve. Following Jesus may mean that we need to be willing to go wherever he calls us to go, to give up whatever he calls us to give up. And maybe that might be money, maybe that might be a career, maybe that might be relationships, friendships, maybe it might be our reputation or our identity. We're willing to sacrifice those things, give those things up because we want to follow Jesus, we want to be close to Jesus. If we love Jesus more, it says, if you love me, then we will really know him and he will make his place with us. He says, whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant will be. We want to be in the same place as Jesus. Honour comes to those who follow. We don't follow to get honour, but when we do follow, we are honoured. We're honoured with just being maybe in eternity with Jesus. We're honoured maybe in this life, but we don't seek the gift of being honoured. We seek rather to be with Jesus, to be close to him. Servants seek to honour their master, to bring honour to their master. And if we are following Jesus, then we want to seek honour for him, seek his reputation rather than our own. I guess at this time, this means that we'll be willing to tell people about Jesus, to bring honour to him, to say the good things he's done in our life, even if people think we're a bit strange, because We want to bring honour to his name. We want to tell people how good God is. And for many who don't yet know him, we want them to experience that. So let's bring honour to him. Let's not worry about our reputation, but let's seek to build up the honour that is rightly deserved by God, by our Father, by Jesus.